Hello, welcome to agronomist once again. I hope you are enjoying our page and the educational posts we often delivers. So today I want to teach about seed storage. I've once made a video on seed storage, but I'm not sure quite everybody understands that. So we are going to practicalize it now. So when you buy seeds, for like we are already going into the planting season in Nigeria, assuming you buy maize seeds, let's say you bought 25 kg, 10 kg, 5 kg of maize, or other vegetable seeds like cucumber, okra, carrots, lettuce, what have you. And where you want to plant it is just a small space, and when you planted, you did not plant everything. So you have a reserve. You didn't plant everything. Maybe you planted half pack, and the other half pack you'll be wondering, what will I do with it? Or you can, if you decide to give it to maybe a friend or another farmer you know to plant, fine. But if you have decided to save it against the next planting season, then let me teach you how you can preserve it. So that is what this video is all about. It's about seed storage. I'm using this for instance. I bought maize seeds from Seedco. Let's say I bought yellow maize seed SC526. We sell that. So this is not actually Seedco maize. I'm just using an instance. And after planting, you have this reserve. You didn't plant everything. How do you save it? First, you need a container with lid. Any container, bottle, plastic, but it must be airtight container with lid. Then you are going to pour your seeds into the container. Whatever, if it's vegetarian, any type of seed, once it's harvested, you pour it in the container. So we have your seed here. Then what is the next step? The next step is to introduce desiccants. My last video, I treated desiccants. If you haven't watched it, please go and watch. Don't ask me in the comment section, what is desiccant? What is desiccant? Go and watch that video. You will understand. Like I told you previously in that video, that desiccants, they are substances that will help you to absorb moisture from air and from the surrounding environment. So certain seeds are stored at certain moisture content. Like when the seeds are being produced, they have a certain moisture content for storage. And when you store them, it's advisable you introduce a desiccant so that the desiccants will keep moisture away from the seeds to avoid spoilage. Sometimes when the humidity is very high, there will be water molecules, accumulation of moisture, water molecules. So the duty or the job of the desiccant is to absorb these moisture residues. And today, I'm going to introduce the desiccants into the seed, and we are using the local one, something you can easily afford, charcoal. And like I said, you use the grounded charcoal, the ground charcoal, not just this. And before you introduce this desiccant, you have to wrap them in cloths or in paper bag. Any of the above is okay. So we have, I don't know whether you can see this, the grounded charcoal, the one I've grounded. So I'm going to wrap it up. I have a cloth here. This is more like a chiffon cloth. I'm going to wrap it very well. We wrap so that we avoid contaminating the seeds with the desiccants. So now, when I wrap, I have this to seal it up very well so it doesn't contaminate our seed. Okay. Yeah, I'm taking my time, so be patient with me. All right. Is all wrapped up. Then we introduce into our seed container, and then we seal it up And where do you store these seeds? You've poured the seed in a container with lid, airtight container. You've introduced a desiccant that will keep moisture away from it. And then where do you store your seeds? Seeds are best stored in refrigerators. So go to that your refrigerator. Remember, don't use refrigerator that you are putting food store, because that one you will keep opening. In the morning you open, in the evening you open, in the night, no. It should be a specified refrigerator for seeds. So the refrigerator, you have to keep this at the middle or the lower shelf. You know, when you open refrigerator, it's usually have ranks or shelves. At the middle or lower shelf. Do not put in the freezer. Do not store in the freezer. Not the freezer. The middle or the lower shelf of the refrigerator. And then when you put it in the refrigerator, how do you regulate the temperature? Seed has certain temperature at which you can store it. You have to set the temperature of the refrigerator to 5 degrees Celsius, between 5 to 10. You can set it at 5, you can set at 7, at 8, at 9, or at 10, between 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. That's the temperature you can use to store your hybrid seeds. And when you store the seeds in that condition, don't open. You are not meant to be opening the fridge up and down, because the moment you start opening it up and down every time, the temperature will be fluctuating and it's going to affect the storage. You only open when you want to change the desiccants. The desiccants we introduce should be replaced every 2 to 3 months. Let's say every 3 months. As you've put this thing here, every 3 months, you open, you remove, you replace, you put another one. Because it's assumed that it has absorbed enough moisture by then, maybe it's a bit wet, you have to change it. So that is the only thing that will make you to open that fridge or open the container of seeds until the time comes when you want to use it again. If you store seed in this condition, it can stay for 6 months, it can stay for 1 year, depending if you maintain that temperature and you do not go and open and close all the time to avoid fluctuation. Then most of you will be saying, I don't have refrigerator, I'm a poor farmer, I live in a rural community. How can I save seeds? Now this is good news for you. Aside using a refrigerator, you can save seed in a room temperature. Just a normal room temperature, not a normal room temperature because it has a specified temperature, but you can save in your room. In your room, get something like a raised platform. It could be a shelf or a table, anything, but it should be a raised platform. Don't keep it on the bare floor. Then you place the seed. If I'm using like a table or a shelf, I place the seed there, and then I have to make sure that the temperature of that room is below 20 degrees Celsius. I don't know whether you are getting me. So we prefer to use 16 degrees Celsius. So if you are saving seed in a room, maybe that room, the temperature has to be very low, 16 degrees Celsius. It could be 15, it could be 16, but preferably 16 degrees. Maybe you have to put an AC. Maybe you have to put anything. So you have to check the temperature of that room. There is equipment for checking temperature, and make sure it's 16 degrees Celsius. And that temperature will be maintained at all times. No fluctuations. That way, this seed can stay for 6 months or for 1 year. Then you can also use it to plant. I hope this video helps. Bye.